Alright, so Unit 3, starting Unit 3, Day 1. Today should go out really quickly. We should have a lot of time to look at our tests. We should have a lot of time to start our homework, things like that. I mean, my regular class, we did the same lesson. We had about 20 minutes of work time. So we should have plenty of time to get through everything. It's all a review today. We're talking about midpoint distance formulas. Should be pretty easy. Our unit, though, is circles and conic sections. What that means is any piece can be cut out of a cone. Right? Circles will be cut out of cones. We'll talk about ellipses. We'll talk about hyperbolas. We'll talk about parabolas again, which we did last unit, right? Parabolas. So we'll talk a lot about circles. We'll talk a day probably each on ellipses and hyperbolas. We'll talk about drawing all those things. And then from there we'll go and have a test. Alright? So it's what, like an 8-9 day unit? I think. So I would test next Thursday, I want to say. My guess.
Do you have a test before spring break?
Will we have another test before spring break? What's our log functions? We might. I'd have to look. I'd have to look. I would venture to say no, but I don't want to be quoted on saying no. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's start our lesson so we get done right away. Oh, why is it way off? This is going to be really frustrating. Okay, so graph the following points. -2, 1, 1, 5, that's B. Alright, so if you graph them, what type of shape did you get?
A triangle.
Not just a triangle, but a right triangle. Very good. So we'll probably draw a right triangle. Sweet. What'd you get for a length of BC then? Hold on. Oh, how'd you get 4?
I like the strawberry. Oh, that's a 4.
Alright, 4, yeah, you just count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Thank you. What about the length of AC? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, what if I ask you the length of AB? We could use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Can't get ahead of myself. Because AB is technically the what? The right triangle. The hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. So to find our hypotenuse, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem, or a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now we're not actually going to do it because we don't really care. It doesn't really pertain right now. But the important part is the length of the hypotenuse is also the what between A and B? It's the distance, right? So when we do distance formula today, we're technically using Pythagorean theorem to solve for our distances between 2 points. The whole distance formula comes from Pythagorean theorem. Alright, so our distance formula is, anyone remember what it is?
Square root of x2 minus x1 squared.
Yeah, good. x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared, except when I solve for c, I take the square root of both sides, right? So it's a square root of a squared plus b squared. Or it's x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. The whole distance formula is derived straight from Pythagorean theorem. Alright, so when we find distance between 2 points, we're actually using Pythagorean theorem, but an application of it. Okay? Do you need to remember that it comes from Pythagorean theorem? No. We thought we'd just show you that. Do you need to remember the distance formula? Yes. Alright? Any questions on that? Okay, should we try some? Wonderful, let's do it. So, find the distance from C to D. The hardest part, guys, is setting up the formula. Square root x2 for minus x1, which is -3. Minus -3 is like plus 3 squared. Plus y2 minus y1 squared. Hey, does it matter which one's y2, which one's y1, which one's x2, which one's x1? No, not in this case, because we're squaring it either way. Either we're going to get positive 7 or we're going to get negative 7. And when we square it, both those become positive 49, right? So it doesn't matter which one's x2, x1, y2, y1. So then I get square root of 7 squared plus negative 5 squared. And I'm just going to keep solving, right? Once I set it up, all it is algebra. Square root of 49 plus 25, which is the square root of 74. Now what do you think I should try and do with that? Simplify it, right? Simplify the radicals. So, here's what I'm going to say about distance formula and simplified radicals. If we're just specifically looking for a distance, like we are here, I would like it in simplified radical form. If you are comparing two distances, like we'll do the next problem, then you can change them to decimals so you can kind of see, hey, what is the actual value of it? Alright, so if we're comparing distances, I'll say decimals are okay. If we're just looking for a distance, I want simplified radical form, so it's the exact distance. Does that make sense? Okay, so is there a perfect square that goes into 74?
No.
No, so my answer is just square root of 74. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes, no?
Yep.
Okay, let's try the next one then. Graph and find the distance for the following, AB and PQ. Well, AB, so negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. P is 2, 7. And then PQ, 7, 3. 1, 2, 3. Q is 2, 1. So it wants us to find the distance for both of those two lines, because we want to know which one's the longest, which one's the shortest, and what's the difference in the lengths. So let's start by just finding the distance for both of them. So if I do AB first, square root of negative 4 minus 2 squared plus 2 minus 7 squared. This is AB. I get square root of negative 6 squared plus negative 5 squared, which is square root of 36 plus 25, or square root of 61. Which we're going to be comparing distances, right? We're going to see which one's longest, which one's shortest. So what I want you to do is punch on your calculator. Tell me what you get. So let's just go to the tenths place, we'll say. What do we get? Square root of 61. Anybody?
7.8.
Thank you. 7.8. Okay, then doing the same thing for PQ. Right, like I said, the hardest part is setting up the equation originally. Square root 7 minus 2 squared plus 3 minus 1 squared. Or 5 squared plus 2 squared. Well, 5 squared is 25. 2 squared is 4, so I get square root of 29. Which is approximately 5.4. Guys, I know I went fairly quickly, but all it is calculation once we get into that formula, alright? So I got 7.8 for AB, I got 5.4 for PQ. Which one's a longer length? AB, right? So let's answer the first question. What's the shorter length then? PQ, alright. Question 3, what's the difference between the two lengths? What do we have to do?
Subtract them.
Subtract them, right? Difference means subtraction. So 7.8 minus 5.4. What are you going to get? 2.4. So the difference between the two is 2.4 or 2.4 units, whatever you want to say. Alright? Any questions on that? And what's up?
For the one, for example 1,
Mhm.
square root 74, it's 5 minutes.
No, because when we're doing just distance, I want the exact distance. If I'm comparing two numbers, I don't expect you to be able to compare square root of 61 and square root of 29, and then tell me the difference between those two. Right? So if we're comparing distances, or we're doing operations to distances, I'd say decimals are okay. But if you're just finding a distance, I'd like the exact radical form. Okay? Alright, then midpoint formula. Midpoint formula, x1 plus x2 over 2. y1 plus y2 over 2. Remember, they're two separate pieces, guys. There's an x part and a y part. We don't interchange them. Because when I get my midpoint, I should have an x and a y value, right? I should have two values, x and y. X comma y. I should have parentheses around it because it's a point. If you give me one number and I ask for the midpoint, we're going to have a lot of issues. Right? It's a point. So here's our midpoint formula for that nice empty box on your paper, in case you haven't written it down already. First problem says find the midpoint between -2, 5 and 4, -1. So I'm going to take my two x's, I'm going to average them. -2 plus 4 divided by 2. Well, -2 plus 4 is 2, over 2 is 1. So my midpoint, my x value is 1. I got to find my y value yet. 5 plus -1 over 2. Well, 5 plus -1 is 4, over 2 is 2. So 1 comma 2 would be my midpoint. Right? I don't like doing it as one whole thing like it is in the formula. I like breaking it down into x, break it down into y. That way I don't have to worry about mixing them up. Does that make sense? Alright. Try the next two, please. Try the next two. It's almost done already. And if anyone wants to volunteer to put it on the board, you're more than welcome to.
You need to show them.
I would love if you showed work. Kenzie, is yours charging right now? Is this one fully charged or no? No, it is someone else's who needs it for the ACT tomorrow. Brand Mitchell. I mean, you can charge it for this hour. And then plug hers back in. Okay, is there any volunteers put on the board? Yeah. Do you want to do the first or second one? Okay, does anyone do the second one? No one? Abby, you don't want to do it? I guess I'll do it.
I did the wrong.
Alright, second one then. So you got -1, -3 for the first one. Second one, we should get what? 6 plus -8 over 2 is -1. 9 plus 0 over 2 should be 4.5. Hey guys, how are we doing those two problems? -1, -3, and -1, 4.5. Good. So-so. Wait to see everybody's thumbs. Good. So-so. Thanks. Alright. Then, that's just using a midpoint formula. That's finding a midpoint. What if we're not given two endpoints? What if we're given an endpoint and a midpoint? Sarah?
You would multiply the midpoint by 2 and then set the x equals x to 2. So you multiply 3 by 2 and then you do 6 is equal to -2 plus x.
Good, right? Can I try and explain it a different way? No, you're exactly right though, okay? So you're skipping the first step, which is perfectly okay. Hey guys, when we found the midpoint, the x value at our midpoint, we did x1 plus x2 over 2, right? That was our first endpoint, our second endpoint added together, divided by 2. And that gave us the x of our midpoint, right? Well, I have one endpoint and the midpoint. So what if I did -2 plus, do I have a second endpoint? No, so I'm putting in x over 2 equals the x value of my midpoint. Right, so instead of adding my two endpoints, I'm add my one endpoint plus the endpoint I don't know, divided by 2 equals the x for my midpoint. I'm using the same formula, I'm just given different pieces that I'm plugging in. Right, and then I would do what Sarah said. I'm going to solve for x. I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides. -2 plus x equals 6. Then I'm going to add 2. X equals 8. So my second endpoint, it's got an x value of 8. Well, I know it's kind of the same process to find my y. y1 plus y2 over 2 equals the midpoint y value, right? My two endpoints added together and divided by 2 should equal the midpoint. Do we all see this? Understand this part? Yes? No? Okay, are there any questions on what I just wrote here? Okay, then I'm giving a y value of an endpoint, so I'm plugging that into y1, plus, I'm not given a second endpoint, so I'm just doing plus y, divided by 2 equals, the y value of my midpoint is -1. So I'm plugging that in for where my y midpoint would normally be. Then I'm just solving. Times 2. 7 plus y equals -2. Minus 7. Y equals -9. So I get 8 comma -9 as my other endpoint. Alright, does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, I want you to try the second one. When you get an answer, you must check with someone that is not at your pod. So your pod of people, you need to go check your answer with somebody else that is not at your pod. See if you got the same thing.
Alright, we good.
That means you have to get up and move a little bit.
Me too. I did it mine already.
You did yours already.
Yep, I checked with Sarah.
I have a question.
Yep.
So I have like one first. Is that what
Can you grab that, Connor? Thank you.
Or is it ACTs tomorrow? I forgot to write down what this equation is for.
That is for a circle.
So like what's the
That is the equation of a circle. It's like that, if you want to graph it, then you can graph your center, and you can graph the radius. Okay?
Yo, you have like a lot of those in the papers.
Yeah, yeah, I do have that. Yeah.
I'm in your table.
This one?
Yeah,
No, I do not have any. I have this. Is this yours as well? No, otherwise that was just math papers and math. Okay, thank you. Hey, why don't you stand up and go check? Oh, I know, I had to move. Hey AJ, who'd you check yours with?
I'm not, I'm still doing it.
Okay. Taylor, who'd you check yours with? That pod? Did you guys all get the same one? Okay. Johnny, what about you?
I'm still looking for something to do.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're asking your partners for help there? Because I assume Taylor got the right one. She got the same one as the other people. Okay. What about you guys? You check with somebody else? Who? Alvin. Alvin's just a designated go-to answer. Is that what it is? All right. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Mystery, I got it.
I'll get a slab.
Ah, what is happening? You got it, AJ?
I got it right.
Did you check it with someone from a different pod?
I did.
Who?
I checked it with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought if you were gonna say Alvin again, I was gonna.
No.
All right. So we all did it. We all checked it. Okay. Did we all get 912? Do I need to go through the whole process on here? No, we're good. Okay, it's the same process as the other one. So, if that is it, that's it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a listen. We're gonna go through our test. Then we have an exit slip, and then you get your homework. Okay? The stuff we just did. Swipe up, subscribe.